Hello, my name is Daniela Ehrlich. I'm coming from the European Commission, and I'm leading this session on Earth observation, exposure, and information extraction. What I really want to tell you is about what can be done with satellite imagery, and also what information are we supposed to extract from satellite imagery, and how to do it. And of course, exposure, and we're talking about physical exposure, is something that you can measure from satellite imagery. And it's a critical factor, as we have heard before also, in the risk disaster equation. So there are lots of satellite imagery there. Some show the Earth at once, some show a very tiny piece of the Earth. And, but those ones can tell you, for example, where the buildings are, where the roads are, and which is the physical infrastructure. In fact, what physical exposure is all about is about where are the buildings, what is the quality of the buildings, and how can we measure, and how can we measure the quality of the building? That's what we are after. What has the remote sensing community produced? Well, there are several maps, settlement maps at the global, continental level, but also urban land use maps and building stock maps produced with this very high resolution satellite imagery. So the global settlement maps, you know, some of you have been exposed to that, produced for the night lights, some with the newly released MODIS 500-meter urban layer, some continental maps for Africa and Europe. And of course, you have the urban land use maps that I think this community is quite familiar with. They are great, and I think I would like to know more about it from you. Please come to our session, because we have several questions. From this satellite imagery, you can also get these building stock maps represented as points or as footprints or as 3D buildings, in volume buildings, of course. But the location is not sufficient. You also need to know about the fragility, the vulnerability of those buildings. And probably you can test something from remote sensing, but not only from remote sensing. But that also we need information from you on how to go about that. So how can you get information on vulnerability? Really, well, there are several ways. You have oblique photography, you have LiDAR, you have stereo imagery, and so on, that all can contribute to that exercise. And, but maybe that's not sufficient. We will have also a presentation on the Indian products. We have a great presentation that shows several information layers produced at different scale, at different detail. And if you put all this information together, you will get something like that. And we would like to have input from your side also on that. And then we have to tell you something about how we can do things in an automatic, how we can extract information in an automatic way. For example, we have all this satellite imagery available now over Google. If you could just take those and then do something with it. For example, could you just produce a simple settlement map, just yes, built up, non-built up, like it's been shown here on the screen here. And we could extend this. We have tried on 40 cities, and it works quite fine. Couldn't we just extend it for a much larger area? It would be very valuable, I think. We would like also to inform you about how to extract information within the built up. So there are several ways to go and extract information. For example, you can identify the vegetation and versus the buildings. That's green and violet here on this screen here. And you can combine different parameters that are extracted automatically from the satellite imagery, and you can then classify and group these urban patterns. In fact, I have to tell you also that there are some tools available that will be available soon that you will be able to use, and you will be able to classify these urban patterns yourself. And of course, one of the most important things for exposure is measuring the height of the building, and that can be also done automatically. This screen shows just a nice built-up map in 3D. By the way, this is Alexandria. And of course, we can't miss SAR radar imagery. That is very important, and it will become more important in the future. So just to tell you that there are a lot of satellite imagery available there, and there are a lot of products that can be derived from satellite imagery. The question is, which one do you want to have? And that has to come from you. So please come to our session. The session will be made of 4 speakers that will present actually, they are just here, and maybe I just wanted to tell you is that why we want you here in this session is also because we want to understand from you if there are already standard products that we could refer to and we could reproduce. So please come tomorrow, and you saw where we're tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Thank you very much.